where we bring new perspective to every story. We promote awareness on events in various sectors of the economy in Nigeria, Africa, and around the world. We celebrate global leaders and personalities that have risen against all odds, making tremendous strides in countless industries. With innovative, unbiased, cutting-edge stories and global events just for you. Don't miss our exclusive interviews with world leaders and entrepreneurs as they share their inspiring stories with the world. And be sure to catch our Labor Roundtable, highlighting views on labor issues. Be sure to also grab your Global Labor Events and Business Magazine, a magazine you must have. So join us here on Labus TV. This is where great conversations begin.
All right, people, welcome to another interesting episode of Exclusive Interview on Labels TV. My name is Shelley Murphy, and as always, Exclusive Interview is that program, that show that is specially designed to celebrate amazing personalities around the world that has risen against all odds to become a voice and making tremendous impact in their respective industries and sectors of the economy, both locally and internationally. This is where leaders set the tone for growth and profess solutions to various issues in their respective industries. I mean, this is where the conversation begins exclusively on Exclusive Interview. So join us and let's take you on a journey with our special guests every episode of the show where you'll be inspired, you'll be informed, you'll be entertained. So come on in and don't forget to like, share, and invite your friends and family members to join us. Today is another educative episode, and I have a very remarkable woman in the studio with me. She is the CEO of Vessels of Virtue magazine. She's a coach, she's a mother, she's so much more. You'll get to meet her as she comes up. So, but then before I bring up my guests, I want to also remind you that we are also streaming this broadcast live on YouTube. And the link is already in the comment section if that's your preferred platform. You can also watch us live on YouTube. And then ensure that you get your notepad and pen and get ready to take notes. Please share this broadcast because there's going to be a lot of juicy nuggets, tips that could help someone around you to grow and become the desired change that we all want to see. All right, so before I bring up my guests, let's go on a break and we'll be right back.
Welcome to Labus TV, Labor and Business Television, where we bring new perspective to every story. We promote awareness on events in various sectors of the economy in Nigeria, Africa, and around the world. We celebrate global leaders and personalities that have risen against all odds, making tremendous strides in countless industries. With innovative, unbiased, cutting-edge stories and global events just for you. Don't miss our exclusive interviews with world leaders and entrepreneurs as they share their inspiring stories with the world. And be sure to catch our Labor Roundtable, highlighting views on labor issues. Be sure to also grab your Global Labor Events and Business Magazine, a magazine you must have. So join us here on Labus TV. This is where great conversations begin.
Welcome back. Today I'll be interviewing the phenomenal lady, Vessel of Virtue. She is a woman that has been blessed with so much. I mean, so much. When she comes up, like I said earlier, you're going to learn more about who this woman is. Anyway, I am talking about no other than Precious Nyarambi. Hello, hello, hello. Good to have you on the show with us.
Thank you so much, Shirley Murphy. It is indeed an honor to be on this platform on your show today. I don't take it lightly. I'm grateful.
Thank you so very much for honoring our invitation and, of course, being here. Okay, dear. Very quickly, I know our viewers will be itching, they want to know more about this beautiful damsel that we have in the studio. Can you tell us a bit more about yourself, your background, and how it led to what you're doing today?
So, I am a social entrepreneur, Zimbabwean born. I live in South Africa. I personally believe that the Lord has given us nations as an inheritance, is our inheritance. I believe that we are co heirs with Christ, and wherever our souls lay feet on, we are there to take and make it ours. So I'm a social entrepreneur, I'm a Pan African. I believe that, like I said earlier, I'm called to make an impact to the world at large. I'm passionate about empowering communities, empowering individuals, empowering organizations, inspiring my generation, inspiring young women, inspiring the marginalized in the communities, seeing them come to fruition and coming to a place that they are called to occupy and bring relevance in their lives. I think that's my core. I'm a humanitarian at heart, but I also believe in sustained efforts that brings balance to the work that we can ultimately do. In a nutshell, that's Precious. I'm a social entrepreneur, a business person trying to grow my different organizations that I run. I'm an author. Yes, yeah. I'm a busybody, if I may say.
Yeah, I can see that, in some of your works that I've seen. All right, dear. Now, as a social entrepreneur, leading through change, it's a very topical discussion around, tables in recent times. In your own view, what would you say people need to, you know, begin to do, or how can people be, impacted to effect the desired change, especially women around the world?
So I think that personally, change is inevitable. One way or the other is going to happen, is going to come. Sometimes our carpets are rolled away from under our feet. We are expected to grow, even sometimes under the most difficult circumstances, difficult environments. So it is inevitable. It's now how we react to it, because change is going to happen anyway. And sometimes it's due to reasons that are outside of us that we can't influence. So it's going to happen anyway, but it's how then we react to that inevitable change that makes us grow. And whenever that happens, it either it leaves you as a victim or it leaves you as a victim. There are birth pains that comes with it, there are growth pains that comes with it, there's a dying to self that comes with it. So leading in change is inevitable. Change is inevitable. It's our attitude towards the change that will either defy or take us to greatness, or we are forever silenced. But it's going to happen anyway. So, especially now when we face circumstances, situations that we never fathomed we could ever encounter in our lifetime or in the season, and we are expected to quickly navigate, quickly change, be swift about it, be flexible about it. Um, it's required of us to grow. So we then, when we can be able then to lead ourselves as well in that space, then we can be able to lead others. So the some of the key things that I'm realizing as I'm growing in the journey is that, like the others always say, that you cannot pour from an empty cup. So if you're going to lead anyone anyway, you are going to lead yourself first so that you can lead others. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I like it when you said you have to lead yourself first before you'll be able to lead others effectively. And now, change, as you know, and of course you rightly mentioned, is inevitable. But sometimes people struggle, you know, to make the desired change, even when they know that it's going to benefit them, benefit their community, benefit the people around them. And of course, there are numerous factors that hinders positive change. A lot of factors. Some people may be willing to make the change, but some things are not just allowing them, to move, to be in the space where change can be effected. Now, what do you think can be done to address some of the factors that hinders positive change around us?
And I'll just share my personal encounters or circumstances that I've had to find myself in, and I've had to navigate through that. I would like to say, firstly, that perspective is everything. How I perceive a matter, how I perceive a circumstance, how I see myself in a matter is really, really important. And why do I say that? I know you and I were Christians on this platform talking today. And I'll give an example of Joshua and Caleb. They got there as 12 spies. The two decides to perceive a matter differently, and the other 10 decides to perceive a matter differently. And because we are adding on to our conversation to say change is inevitable, there you are faced with the wall of Jericho, and this wall can represent anything. Literally, it can be anything. But as you look at this war, are you looking at it from a lens of defeat? Are you looking at it from lenses of being a victim, that
Victory.
I'm going to perish on this war? Or you are going to look at it from a place of saying, I'm going to pursue and recover what is rightfully mine. So I think that I will have to take us back to that place where I mentioned the issue of self-leadership. Because then when I know who I am, whose I am, and what I carry, when I face the mountain, when I face the roadblock, I'm able then to walk around it with a clearer perspective, with an understanding, with an affirmation, with a knowing deep inside of me that when I face this, because I'm not in charge of what happens, I am able to overcome. I'm able to pursue and recover. I'm able to grow. That when these moments of difficulties that requires me to change, when they happen, um, it's birth pains. It's a stretching, and growth happens when there's a stretching, when there's this pulling that happens inside of you. And you'll be amazed, as painful, as horrible as it can be, if you can add authenticity to that experience, to just reflect and be authentic with yourself. You'll be amazed at the amount of growth that happens deep inside of you. The what I've also observed is that we cannot tell people of experiences that we have not walked. We cannot give a testimony of things that we've never lived. So the things that we face on a day-to-day basis, they are firstly for me, and then for the next person. The things that we have never walked on, the things that we've never experienced, we cannot give a testament of that, because it's not a reflection of who we are and what we've had to overcome. So the growth happens internally, and then when you've grown, you perceive matter differently. And in these difficult circumstances, difficult situations, is usually our place of growth. Discomfort, yes, but we grow when we allow the growth to happen.
Amazing. Yeah, you have just hit the nail on the head. We have to allow the growth to happen. Nothing happens out of the blues. And every journey, every story of any man or woman, there's always a process. And I see where you are also coming from. Every one of us, we have our struggles. We have, one thing or the other trying to pull us down, even when we are trying to, be up. But in
That's
as
right.
much as we are focused, you are determined, you're resilient, you will definitely get there. And just like you're talking about perspective, definitely the way we view life and the struggles that we are going through matters a lot. Like I tell people, challenges are bound, to happen. In fact, it is part of us. It is what makes us who we are. But the way you view it, the perspective, you look at it, is what will make you to either come out victorious or remain there defeated. So I really, really appreciate, your message on this, and that takes me to the next question.
I
I
just
want to.
wanted to take us, maybe if I can just add on to what you've just said.
Yeah.
Sometimes situations, they also look so big because you are looking at them on your own with your own lenses, right? But the challenge, that the mountain that I can be facing today, if I share that mountain with you, you might actually tell me that, Precious, I've walked that journey before, and this is how I navigated around the situation. It's let's just take figuratively the story of these spies. They are there looking at this mountain. um, what the other spies did not know was who was behind them, who was for them, who was on the
Yeah.
inside of them, who was for them, who was going to fight for them. So it was the warring angel Michael, who was there to warn their behalf and ensure
Yeah.
that the wars are broken. So you realize that when other people have walked it requires a discernment, of course, before we share to people. It's not a random thing that we share publicly, but God must lead us to the people that we must open up to say, this is the mountain I'm facing. And then sometimes you're amazed that the mountain that you feel is a mountain is actually an anthill. So
Yeah.
sometimes sharing with the right midwives will help you to unpack this thing better, so that you are not stuck in the things that you think they are so big. You'll be amazed that they are actually very small. And so it then makes sense that we are intentional in relationship building. We are intentional in the mentorship part of our lives, because mentorship does help. So you might find that you are stuck, but your mentor probably has already overcome that thing, and by you just going to them and opening up, you'll be amazed at what they can be able to unpack. And so what you thought was huge then is reduced to being this small little thing. When you perceive it, you're like, oh, indeed, it's a small end.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's it. You have just said it all. It is important, it is key that we sometimes share whatever you're going through with someone. But again, you talk about discernment to be able to know the right person that you share with, because sometimes people share stuff with people, wrong people, and regret ever doing so. And of course, they make their situation even worse. So you should be able to have that spirit of discernment to know. And of course, the Holy Spirit will always lead and direct you to the right source, the right mentor, the right helper, I would say, that would help you out from whatever you may be going through. And as leaders, it is important that we always share our struggles, like you mentioned earlier. Share our struggles. How was it when you were, climbing the ladder to getting here? So other people can also learn that it wasn't a bed of roses. We had challenges. There were times where I never had this. There were times that I had to face this. So it could also encourage someone coming up to know that my mentor faced that and overcame, and I too can do so. Thank you so very much, Precious. You are so
Thank you.
precious, precious.
Thank
All
you.
right, so now I want to take you deeper into, for you to share rather with us what you have been doing in your space to further impact and encourage effective change as a social entrepreneur.
Thank you for that question. I firmly believe that most of my purpose is birthed from my experiences. And so I don't trivialize the frustrations, the challenges that I walk through. It is usually from those places where I'm able to give a story that is relatable, that is authentic, because it's coming from a place of experience. Well, I grew up without my parents. They died when I was very young. They divorced when I
Oh,
was
wow.
like very young. They divorced when I was a year old.
Wow.
My
Sorry about
grandmother
that.
actively raised us. I literally grew up in a childhood home, but I don't look at that and feel sorry for myself. I look at that and know that there's a position of an Esther that God has called me to occupy. So when you tell me about someone not having food, I understand. When you tell me about someone not having school fees, I completely understand. When you tell me about being broke, I understand. When you tell me about moving from one nation to another, I understand. So for me, it's from those experiences that I feel that what was meant to destroy me, what was meant to frustrate me, God ultimately always turns it for my good. So my
Victory.
purpose is usually birthed from there. I've been an entrepreneur in business. I've struggled. I have also I've made bad decisions that have affected people negatively. I've done well, I've done bad, I've kept on going. So I feel that the work that I do, number one, is birthed from those places of experience, those places of encounter. Um, then I take it further to say, okay, as I grow, can someone else also, maybe in that space, also grow with me? So you would see that in my work, I'm passionate about marginalized children because from what I know and have experienced, I'm passionate about women that are not empowered. From what I know and what I've experienced, I'm passionate about building an ecosystem for entrepreneurs from what I know and what I've experienced. So I always feel like from every place of pain and challenges, a purpose is birthed inside of me, and then I can then be able to say, "Come on, let's do this together. Let's do this together." So in my work, really, it's empowerment drives that I run on an ongoing basis. We are talking of making sure that we assist children that are struggling with fees, that don't have food, that don't have support. We try and assist them with support. We are talking of even university graduates that are struggling. We are trying to position ourselves in being relevant in that space. So we have a foundation for that. We also have women that are from previously marginalized backgrounds that we empower through job creation. We absorb them in the organization, we counsel, we upskill, then place them on jobs through one of my companies, still growing, trying to make it into an integrated e-commerce service. That's why I've been away traveling lately, is just to try and position myself accordingly so that I catch up with the trends. We then have this organization, Vessels of Virtue, where we believe we're an ecosystem builder. We upskill entrepreneurs. We do that through masterclasses, accelerators. We also launched our first awards program last year that honors leaders, entrepreneurs, and social entrepreneurs. And that also was birthed from a place where you like, I know the tears behind the scenes. I know the frustrations that we go through. So can we just celebrate each other? Can we hold each other's hand and do more and do better and do bigger? So we also have a magazine under that still features social entrepreneurs, leaders, and entrepreneurs. We are trying to venture into beauty range that we believe should be able to empower a lot of women in our circles. I do have a tech company that I run, supply and deployment. It's a new baby, it's a new venture. I'm excited about it. We have started all the work that needs to be done. But at the essence of it for me, it's helping humanity. Tiring and frustrating it can be, but it's worth it every time when you know that you've impacted a life, you've given hope to someone. I feel like you can go home and sleep, even though sometimes people might not perceive it, might not understand it, but it's just changing humanity. So our tagline is empowering, holistically empowering individuals, organizations, communities. for an effective transformation. So that's what makes me happy. That's me. I'm an author. I recently launched my second book. My third book should be out within a month because it was supposed to be out, but I've just been traveling. I just didn't have time to polish that up. But I love people. I know sometimes I make mistakes, but I
Of
genuinely
course,
love
we all
people.
do.
I want to
Hmm.
be.
Wow,
Yeah.
it has been amazing, listening to, all you have achieved and all that you are doing. It is so precious, just as you are precious. And I
Thank
want to
you.
say congratulations for all that you're doing, impacting lives, helping humanity, empowering women, empowering young children as well. And just like you rightly mentioned, but it's unfortunate anyway that sometimes some of our leaders, having passed through some of these challenges that you and I know, some that never had food, some that never had house, shelter, I would say, some that never had school fees and all of that, all those challenges will now become successful tomorrow and all of a sudden forget where they came out from. And sometimes it breaks my heart. And that's why each time I see women, particularly women now, because women has been doing a whole lot, in this journey. When I see women that come out beyond what we can ever think of, even when they are still struggling, they still make sure that they look back and give back and encourage someone, help someone to rise, help someone to move forward. That is what triggers us to say, no, this person must be celebrated beyond, your circles, must be celebrated to also encourage others. Because when we come together, when we come to a realization that we have a role to play
Mhm.
of helping at least one person, of at least supporting one person, one child, feeding a child, feeding
Mhm.
someone, empowering one woman. Sometimes when we mention the word empowerment, some people will challenge you and say, "What do you mean empowerment? We are all empowered." I know we are all empowered, but sometimes we need someone to help us rise. You need someone to encourage. Those words of encouragement is empowerment. You are being empowered to
Mhm.
rise, to look back into yourself and tap into the potentials that is lying on tap within you. And those are empowering words that can help lives to be transformed. I celebrate you,
Thank you.
Precious. I celebrate you, and I want you to continue because I know, of course, that is part of your purpose actually, but do more because I know sometimes we have people that are doing this and never get appreciated, and sometimes you won't say no. There are times you feel like, oh no, I'm supposed to get this, I'm supposed to get that, that gratitude, that appreciation, and all of that. And sometimes it may be frustrating, but then
Mhm.
I want you to know that God, who is the rewarder of all good works, is the one that will reward you bountifully. So, congratulations once again
Thank
for
you.
the amazing work that you are doing, impacting lives and effecting positive change. Effecting positive change. That is that is not just about us talking about change, change, change. And at the end of the day, like I tell people, you don't just talk about change on the screen, on the papers, off
Mhm.
your head, and you don't
Mhm.
do it. So a good leader must walk the talk. So I see you as one of those powerful leaders that this generation needs. And
Thank you.
as is always being said, the sky is going to be your beginning point. Thank you so very much for sharing your story and your journey with us. Okay, now that takes us to a break. And when we return, we'll get to continue with the rest of the conversation.
Welcome to Labus TV, Labor and Business Television, where we bring new perspective to every story. We promote awareness on events in various sectors of the economy in Nigeria, Africa, and around the world. We celebrate global leaders and personalities that have risen against all odds, making tremendous strides in countless industries. with innovative, unbiased, cutting edge stories and global events just for you. Don't miss our exclusive interviews with world leaders and entrepreneurs as they share their inspiring stories with the world. And be sure to catch our Labor Roundtable highlighting views on labor issues. Be sure to also grab your Global Labor Events and Business Magazine, a magazine you must have. So join us here on Labis TV. This is where great conversations begin.
All right, this is where great conversation begins. Welcome back. So, I have been discussing with the phenomenal Precious. She is a superwoman, a powerhouse woman, a vessel of virtue. She is doing so much, impacting lives, helping humanity, transforming lives. I would add that transforming lives, from her circle. And it is so encouraging, to see women and of course leaders like this, because sometimes when I talk about women, some people, somebody actually challenge me, why is it that you're always talking about women? I said, wow, if I don't talk about me, who will I talk about? I'm a woman, and I must service my immediate community, and I promote women more because I know how far and how much women have been behind, how much women have been looking down upon, that women cannot do this, women cannot do that. And this generation, we are seeing a lot of women that have stepped up, that have stepped out to effect change, to make our community more wonderful through the wonderful works that they are also doing. So now, thank you, Precious, once again for sharing your story with us. And that takes me to another question I just want you to share with us as a leader. Where do you think other leaders, because it is time for us to holistically, practically come together to harness either ideas, harness all that we are into in order for us to further promote a positive environment for the future generations. Where do you think, or what do you think leaders needs to do collectively in order to bring this, into the fore to help benefit the future generations?
Um, Thank you so much for the beautiful remarks, by the way. I personally believe in the power of unity. And I believe that if we can grasp that, the earlier we get that, we can be able to cover a lot. As individuals, I believe that if this person called Precious is united within, she can be able to unite others. So I feel that sometimes in our context as individuals, sometimes we are fragmented, we are in parts, we don't know who we are, or sometimes past experiences have hardened our hearts, we've not dealt with issues inside. So when we can get this person right, when we can synchronize this person together, when this person is whole and one, then you can be able to take that to the next person. You can be able to take that to Shirley and say, Shirley, this is where I am. And so personally, I feel that most of the time we spend our time pulling each other down, saying the worst we can about each other. And if we could just, I love the scripture that says, the verse can't just come to mind, but I'll speak into it, that says that whatever that is noble, whatever that is kind, whatever that is praiseworthy, whatever that
Think
is
about.
that is trustworthy, whatever that is good, meditate or ponder on this. If we can get to that place where this heart has got good intentions for Shirley, and Shirley has got good intentions for Precious, just even just the two of us, I feel like we can be able to do more. So this growth that we want, the impact that we want ultimately to see in our families, in our communities, in our organizations, in our countries, it starts by me being one. When I'm one, when I'm full, when I'm complete, I can join my hand with Shelley as a leader in Nigeria. I can join my hand with Mirel. I can join my hand with Hazel. I can join my hand with Dr. Florence, and we can be able to do so much. But we don't spend our time doing that. We spend our time on negative things that don't edify anyone, that don't grow anyone. And in that process, we are not progressing. We are
So,
stuck in the stagnant waters that become very sticky and very toxic. So I feel that it's really, I think it's high time as Christians, as women, as Africans, we can be able to just have good intentions for the next person, have good intentions and make it deliberate. And even if you might, there's that part that says it's not good, what she did is not right, maybe just let give the person the benefit of the doubt. I think we can be, if our hearts are right and we are intentional about it and we ponder on the good about the next person, I think we can be able to do so much. We are learned enough, we have enough, we have what it takes. But there are these little foxes within us that I just feel that it then affects the whole thing. This whole bread becomes very bad because we have not mastered the unity of doing things together.
together. Yeah. Yeah. You have said it all. It is high time for us to first and foremost. I think that I want to say that failure of an individual to appreciate who you are,
Mhm.
see the potentials that is in you, makes it, you know, open up the negativity for people to begin to think, wrongly, or begin to think bad about another person. Because for me, sometimes I sit down and I begin to ponder on these things. I have so much that has been deposited in me, and I am thinking of how, to navigate through, to actualize, fulfill my purpose. So what time do I have to begin to think bad about another person? Because
Mm,
I am busy developing, empowering, moving me,
mhm,
ensuring that I succeed. So if I succeed and I want to succeed, I should also wish the same for another person. But if you have failed to discover and know what you carry, what you are about, that as a woman you are beautiful, you are, uniquely made. God has completed his work on you, and he has given you so much that you need to, be useful for yourself and be useful for others. That will
mhm,
be a lot of work for you to do, you know, preparing you, moving in the right direction that God has created for you. It is high time we start from there to love who we are, embrace what God has given to us. And
mhm.
from there, we'll move to loving the next person. Love
And
is what
the,
makes the world go round, but you must love yourself first
that's
before you love
true.
another person. If you don't love you, you can't love another person, because you'll be
No,
thinking, like, for now, I'll be looking at Precious. Oh, Precious, because you're precious, you're more precious than I am. You are precious. God has uniquely made you precious for you,
that's
and he has
true.
made me precious as well for me.
That's
So
true.
all I need to do is to ensure that that beauty, that light that he has given to me, to shine it out to the world to
Hmm.
see, so that that light
Hmm.
can illuminate every area of me, from my family to my community, and
Hmm.
that the light radiates into every area. God has made us the light of the world, but you have
That's
to
true.
develop the
That's
light
true.
to shine out from you, so you can reach others. So if we get to begin to have this realization, every woman, every human out there, I think it will help making the world a better place. Oh, I sincerely agree with you. The pulling down syndrome has to end. Honestly, it is it is high time we put an end to it and begin to appreciate what we have, appreciate who we are, and look at ways at which we can tap into the wonderful things that is in another person, because all of us, we have our mistakes, we have our weaknesses, but let's not capitalize on the weakness, but let's look at the things, the positive things that we can do. And that's why I advocate for collaborations all the time. When we come together, we can do so much more. We can change the world within a twinkle of an eye with unity, like you have rightly said. So
Because
I want to give you, I know you wanted to say something. Yeah.
there are things that only you, Shelley, can do, you know, as this whole body of women, as this whole body maybe of African nationality, or maybe as a body in the Nigerian community. There are things that only you can do, and you can do them in a certain way. So now, if then I pull you down, you are not going to execute at the level that you're
That's
expected to, that's required of you by God. Because whatever we do it as unto the Lord. So there are certain things that only that's why I have my own fingerprint that you can never have. There are things that when they are done, you will know that Precious did this. You cannot take that away from me. So when we begin to appreciate that uniqueness, the individual uniqueness in each one of us, we can be able to when we appreciate it, we identify it, we acknowledge it, we appreciate it. I feel like we can do so much more. Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. And the time is now. There is no better time for us to start that journey than now. All right. That takes us to our fun segment, because I know you won't tell me that all that you do, morning to night, January to December, is for you to travel around the world impacting lives. That brings us to our fun segment, Precious. We would like you to share your fun facts with us. What are those things you do outside you writing a book, running around in one company or the other? What are those fun facts about you, Precious?
Um, Firstly, I think I love God.
You love
Um,
what?
I love God so much.
We all do. I do too.
It makes
All
sense
right.
to me.
Yeah, it's good.
He remains that one thing that remains forever and ever. You know, that doesn't condemn me, that doesn't judge me, that takes me as I am
Yeah,
every now and again.
that place of
Um,
peace.
so it's my place of sanity, it's my place of confidence, it's my place of growth. So obviously I do spend more time. I just want to acknowledge that it's not that I'm always praying, but it's my place, it's my sanctuary of sanity. um I love cooking. I believe I'm a very good cook. And
Hey, I can't wait to taste one of those delicious meals. Okay.
I do love cooking. I experiment with food. I believe I'll own a franchise of restaurants. Is my retirement plan. It's one of my retirement
Wow.
plans. I really love to cook. I love movies a lot, and believe you me, one of my favorite actors is Mr. Bean. When I feel like I need a good laugh, I look for Mr.
That's
Bean.
funny.
I
Wow.
just
Okay.
he does it for me. He makes me laugh so much. I love to sing. I
Okay.
actually feel that that gift is something that I've hidden for a while, and I should actually
It is
work on
time to
it
bring it
more.
out.
Yeah. I'm very adventurous. I dream. I dream a lot. I put things into practice. Sometimes I win, sometimes I don't. I love to have arguments with people just to pick on their brain, just to hear what they have to say about certain things. So sometimes I'll just instigate and just like eh, just to get what they think in their heads, and it
Yeah.
fascinates me what you hear. Um, generally, I do love people. I try. What else do I love traveling. That I will not
You
lie.
see,
I love traveling a lot. I feel that in traveling you grow, you
yeah,
appreciate other people,
you learn more.
and it's good exposure.
Have
So I
you
do
have you
love
come to
traveling.
Nigeria before?
I intend to come. We were supposed to
Hmm.
host our awards this year in Nigeria, but we are
Okay.
still deliberating between Kenya and Nigeria because we want different countries to host the Vessels of Virtue Awards. So it's my intention.
Okay.
I love Nigerian women. I love their zeal. I love their
Mhm.
tenacity. I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they live this word of God for me. They exude boldness. They exude courage. Most of them are hardworking. I love Nigerians. To be honest with you, I do.
Thank you. Oh wow, I love that last remarks about us, women, Nigerian women. We are beautiful in and out, and of course, thank you so much for sharing with us. For some people that never knew, the Precious love movies, Mr. Bean, number one. So if you see her coming around, if there's no space for her to cook, slot in Mr. Bean. All right. So thank you so very much for
You're
sharing that
welcome.
with us. And I'm happy that you also find time to relax, and do other things, because these are some of the things that we need when we are taking care of us, taking care of you. So you find a time, find a place where you can take your mind off some stuff, some work, and you relax entirely, laugh it out, and all of that, and of course get to mingle with other people. Okay,
Yeah.
so we are getting, to the end of the show. But before we do that, I want you to share what your advice would be to women globally about stepping out to lead in the change that we all want to see. We all clamor for change. Women are the future. Women are the Messiah or Savior of the world. But we need intentional leaders to step out to do this. Would you share, your words of wisdom or words of advice on this regard?
I think women make equally good leaders. Um, why do I say that? By virtue of us being womb carriers, we give birth. I think by nature, we are naturers. And um, I always say this to people that it's hardly ever where a woman can be intentional in killing another human being. Those cases are there, but they are not as common. We would rather protect, would rather shield even the things that are not our own. I know even in your own space, you are doing so much to empower. You love people even beyond yourself. So number one, I just feel that women can be able to make good leaders because of that part that we give birth, and that thing that we give birth to, we wouldn't want it to be destroyed. And of course, we are walking into a lot of uncharted waters, because we are defying the odds, especially in this season. We are defying the ordinary, the norm that has been there. So there is also going to be a bit of resistance with the opposite sex. But I also believe that we um, we are not in competition with anyone. Rather, we are
Okay.
adding value, and our value must be appreciated. It must be acknowledged. It must be recognized. So my advice to women would be, firstly, that just know that by you being a womb man, you have a womb, and that makes you a natural by default. And I know you automatically just want to be that mother hen that protects. And number two, go there and step into the uncommon. Sometimes what we know is challenged. The norm the usual is challenged so that we can walk into the unknown. And it's in those places of walking into the unknown that we grow. But what we carry and who we are as a woman is needed now in this season, in this generation, and in our time. And there's nothing to be apologetic about. There's no point to prove. What we carry in God's creation, we are equally important. What we contribute is needed to take the world to the next stage where it's supposed to go. So I want to encourage women to say, don't stop at nothing. Don't stop at nothing. Dream, write the vision down, make it plain, make it simple, even if it means that you're just gonna see half of it and others will run with it. So be it, but be active, be intentional, be found there. Have your oil ready in your lamp. Just bring about the change that you want
Turn it
that you
on.
see, walk the talk, do these things that are coming into your hand to make the world the better place, because you are the man. Sometimes we are looking for someone else to do something, like we are waiting, but the change that you want to see, those things that unsettle you, that unravel you, that bothers you, when you go to sleep and you question and you're like, why is this like this? You are actually the person that's supposed to address those challenges. So don't undermine yourself. You've got what it takes to challenge the things that are not right in this world. And you are
Absolutely.
exactly the same person that should challenge those things. So the gaps that we
Amazing.
see, we feel, we know are not right, let's step out, let's go and address them. Let's wear our boots and go and conquer. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so very much for those powerful words from a wonderful heart. Thank you so very much. Women, nothing stopping you. Dream big and let's go out and conquer. Let's go out and make it happen. Women have always been adding value. Let's continue adding value and turn the world around into the change that we all want to see. Thank you so very much, Precious. Thank you so very much. And now, finally, how can people connect with you, or do you have something coming up in recent time that you want to share?
So we have quite a number of things that we've lined up. I think we'll have an international meeting that should be online, but the dates are to be advised.
Okay.
We have our awards that are coming at the end of the year, for leaders, entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs. So if you know those people that are change makers, that are doing amazing work out there, give us a shout. We also feature leaders, entrepreneurs, and social entrepreneurs in our magazine. Do give us a shout. I'm on LinkedIn for professional collaborations. I'm active on LinkedIn a lot as Precious Nyarambi. I'm also on Instagram. I have quite a number of handles depending on what you want to reach me out for. We have the
Okay.
awards handle, Vessels of Virtue Awards, Entrepreneurs Awards. We have Vessels Foundation. We have Vessels of Virtue, just entrepreneurs, Precious Nyarambi. You'll find me on Instagram. On Facebook, just look for Precious. You'll see a number of pages. Um, I try as much as I can to respond when people reach out. Obviously, not with just a hi, just go straight to the point. Let's talk about what you want to talk about, and let's see how we can collaborate, how we can help each other to grow, to scale, to bring about the impact that we want to see. Yeah. And my websites, they work. My email address is precious at vesselsofvirtue.org.za. We have a cleaning website, a cleaning app. We have a Vessels of Virtue app. We have we have the magazine website as well, that is live, that is functional. So do reach out, give us a shout. We will definitely contact you and get a hold of you and try as much as we can to do stuff together. But it has been wonderful being on this platform. It has been amazing. I'm grateful for the opportunity. I'm also grateful of the work that you, Shirley, are doing. You are doing an amazing work. You are fitting into this bigger ecosystem for women. Um, I'm glad, and it is my desire to see you prospering, to prosper and prosper and prosper, and conquering and conquering and conquering, and impacting many through your platforms, through your wisdom, through your knowledge, through your guidance. And to the people that took time to listen to us, to this conversation, thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for sparing your time um, to be on the platform and just hearing our views on how we perceive different things. Thank you so much. It does mean a lot. It does mean a lot. It is for this reason that we can be able to be on this platform, is because of you. So thank you so much for tuning in. And it is our desire as well to see you growing as we grow. It is our desire to see you prospering as we prosper. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much.
Wow. So sorry for the break. The connection went out and I disappeared. I'm sorry about that. Sometimes some of these things happen. I don't know what happened. The connection just went out. Oh well, but I'm back. Thank you so very much, Precious. Thank you for also holding on there. Thank you once again for being a part of today's show. And of course, for sharing your story, your message, your journey with us on the show. We really appreciate you. And we hope to join you in some of the amazing works that you are doing, collaborations, and of course partnering with you in any way that we can. So I want to say thank you so much for ever being precious, preciously precious. Thank you. All right, people. That's all we can take on today's episode of the show. Despite the network that went out, we are back. So I hope you were able to grasp all the points that Precious was dishing out to us. For women out there, it is high time for you to step up and effect the desired change around you in your community. Let's come together, let's unite to make things happen. Okay, so you can join us same time, same channel for another episode of the show. And for sponsorship and advert placement, the details scrolling through the screen right there. You can contact us through the details. And also, if you want to feature on the front cover or inside pages of our magazine, Global Labor Event and Business Magazine, the same details are up for you to contact us with. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. And bye bye.